Okay. Hi. Good morning, everyone. Hi. Um, my name is Eric Chan. Uh, I'm National Sales Manager in BlueScope Lizard. So thanks for everyone coming in the morning, and some of it attend in the through online. So thanks for everyone to attend this seminar and giving us a chance to share some knowledge to you all. Okay, today our topic mainly focus on metal claddings, and I think claddings is very is very obvious that when you apply different profile and can looks differently. So even though like these trim decks profile or general profiles that is very generic, but then when applied on horizontally, so it still looks different and envelop buildings. So, okay, the first projects, I will go through few projects reference to let you see. So just like Batu Kawan, these 12 wave, I think a lot of architect, building guides, you all know very well. And this is using our HR29 profile as a cladding and some more in a matte series. Okay. So, and also this Hubsing Industrial Park are using a flat panels and using a matte series as well. Again, in Batu Kawan, DexCom project using HR29 profile as well. And same goes to Carbon Matte series. So seems like matte series is going to be a trend that to apply on wall cladding since we have so many project reference. And MSM Sugar Refinery projects in Pasir Gudang, Johor, the architect designed it as a roof and also the claddings. So serve both way. So some more in using clip lock profile. So something different. Okay, Perodra Central, this project, 5S project in section 15. So this is using HR29 again, the high rip profile. And but then this using carbon XPD fluorescence and using silver coin. So silver coin, this name sounds prestige. So it's a metallic surface. So when applying on the wall claddings, right, someone with the curve, so it's look so much different. And this project in Thailand. They turn from the residential to become a coffee and wine cafe. So are using standing seam. So looks so metal cladding profile is really bring different aesthetic to the buildings when applied on different material and also the profile. So this is the one that you all have to pay more attention and play important role for the cladding. So definitely bring you a different kind of look on buildings. Again, Penang project, the Lao Sport Complex are using a clip lock profiles and using a rough surface. Last time we used to name it as Capero, but now we rebranding as Vermo. We also offering different trendy colors to this range of the profile. So it brings significantly and looks different on the claddings. And later, Miss Tai will be share more on this Asman Hashim projects using clip lock profile as a claddings. So again, now I would like to emphasize a lot of people say that Lysat and BlueScope, who are we? So I would like to give you a brief. NS BlueScope is actually a coin supplier which is produce the coin and in midstream business. We BlueScope Lysat today come here, we are stressed on the profiling. NS BlueScope Lysat is actually a roll formers which is under NS BlueScope umbrella. So we are started in 1968, and last time we called John Lysat. So some people may know this name, and now we are named it as NS BlueScope Lysat Malaysia. So we are downstream business where NS BlueScope still is with coin suppliers in midstream business. And I would like to update everyone that with the enforcement, these BS 476 Class O certificates, actually we already obtained on the cladding. So we are ready to send to you all to do the submissions on different projects. Okay, this is a range of the profile that you can apply on the roof and some applied on the claddings. And no doubt, structure Lysa also offering structural profile. It's also one of our high runner profile. This is our factory, located at section 16, Shah Alam. So we have 3 factory to produce different profile. And if let's say your architect firm are interested to have a factory visit, is welcome to our Shah Alam office. We have the branches office in sales branches office in Penang and also Johor. But this is the only factory manufacturer plant in Shah Alam. Okay, now come to more closer to all of you. So our website is actually keep on improving, and no doubt we BIM object is getting a trend, and we are offering and keep on improving on this BIM object in Revit and also SketchUp models. So from the general profile, then we add on capping, flashing, and also insulation. So actually you can download it on our website or scan the QR code. So this is very useful for everyone. Coming soon, I think now is also the trend that using BIM. Something related to the standard detailings also can be downloaded from our website. So yes, we actually offer PDF, so we can also send to you all on AutoCAD. Okay, so this is the detailing and BIM objects. We keep on improving. Okay, our website is actually very informative. So we even upgrade in these few years, right? We give the gutter calculator to you all. So from this calculator, you can get the residential calculator on the gutter size and also rainwater downpipe size. And also, some of the architect is very concerned on STC. So we also do the actual test, and we have played the simulations at here before and after. So you can play around on our website. And also the latest features, visualizer. So I think every architect is need more visualize on when apply on different profile and also material and different color. So you can go to our website and play around with that. So when you apply this profile and this color, how it look like on your buildings, so we can try to use it on visualizer in our website. So, okay, last but not least, please follow on our social media. Then you can stay tuned on our latest news and also some updates features. Okay, so I pass to speaker. Yeah, Mr. Chahao.
Thanks, Eric. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Yeah. So, welcome and thanks for taking your time today. Come here to let us to share some knowledge and information to you. So, as mentioned by Eric, actually, NS Group is supplying the coil and steel coil, and then the roll former like ISA will produce all the roofing walling products to the market. So as you know that when roofing walling products actually is very big pieces, right, cover the big area. So today we're focusing on when the two area come together, all the joint, how we're going to sew up together and how we're going to do the detailing. So as you can see in the topic today, we are focusing on the wall, but I also will share some detailing about the roof because they share the same logic and concept, design concept. So I think that it worth that after I share the roof, then I share the wall, then you can make use of the concept to apply for all your projects. And also mainly that just now Eric is mentioning that about the standard detailing drawing, right? So I will make use of the standard detailing drawing to do the explanation today, because I believe maybe some of the simple project that you do not need to come to certain roof format to get a detail, maybe you can download it and use it. but still that maybe people will come to you that, hey, how come there's some detail you mentioned there? What does it mean? Can I take out or not? Can you just explain why the installation is need to be that way? So today I just try to make you the standard detail drawing to explain to you so that when you use a standard detail drawing, it will be easy to explain to your role former or contractor that this is necessary or this is not necessary. You can take out if you don't want it. All right. Okay, so before I start, so just to introduce myself, I think just now already mentioned my name. If you have a difficulty to call my name as Jia Hao, you can call me CH. And I will be in charge of the first part of the presentation today. Then second part, the second part will be in charge by Jingling later on. All right. Okay, so before I start, just to give a very rough introduction or maybe refresh your memory about what is flashing and the function. All right. So as I mentioned just now, flashing is for those joint area, because roofing walling is a big area, right? Cover the main area. Then all the small area, you still need to seal it up. So we call it as a flashing. So as you can see, there's a lot of different profile and how you bend it. Okay. So the main purpose is, of course, is prevent the water penetration and then aesthetically pleasing, because you design accordingly. You must design a big area very in aesthetically way. You cannot just detail the flashing in a very simple way, then you ruin the whole design. And also prevent the water ponding in a certain area. And of course, it provide you more design option, because as I mentioned, the roofing walling come in big pieces. So you cannot design all the building with the same designs repeated again, right? So the flashing is very important for you to terminate a certain way to create the design option, right? So, okay, before I start, just to let you know that why there's a, let me point it out. There's a certain profile on this. So, maybe during the break or later on, you can go out to our booth, you can see some color plate, right? The color plate in small pieces, actually you can't really bend it. But you just imagine that, let's say, it's A4. In very big pieces and long pieces, it will be very flimsy, right? So you need to bend a certain thing. Just for example, let me show you. So you see the difference that if one way I bend it in this way, then the other one I'm not bend it. This way we'll be having a very flimsy area. So we'll create a lot of oil, all this. So in other words, is I just try to emphasize that all the profile of the flashing, each band actually there's a purpose on it and to play a certain function. So I will explain it one by one. What is the function of each band so that you understand it? Then you know that, oh, this is the thing that is necessary to be seen or you check on site. Okay. And also that to create the excitement today, we will from time to time create a question. There's a kind of quiz. If you want to try on it, then we will give you a small prize on it. All right. Okay. Okay, so this is the focus of today. As I said, we'll be breaking into first and second session. The first session we're taking 1 hour from now. We'll be in charge by myself. I will talking about the flashing detail for steel roof. As I mentioned, we start with roof because they're sharing the same concept for wall. And then I will just share about a very basic thing, what is system wall and non-system wall, and how we do it on in the detail or the design. And then 3 or 4 is more focused on the steel wall. We'll share about the standard one and the special detail. All right. Then second part, then 1 or 2, I will just give very briefly sharing about the info, how you choose the right material and product for your wall design. And then I will hand over to Jingling to share on a case study. I think that will be more interesting and the focus of today is how you use the wall, how you use the roof and wall, steel roof and wall for the design of the building. This is very interesting part for the part 3. Okay, so let's start of the first half of today. So just bear with me, I think a bit lengthy for 1 hour. Just talking about flashing detail. Okay, so let's start with the flashing detail for steel roof. Okay, for standard flashing detail, I'm not getting into a very so-called special detail because as I mentioned, the today objective is we just introduce what is a standard one so that when you download the standard detail, you can make use of it easily for your project. So we will be having a ridge capping, okay, as a standard one. Then the barge one, which is parallel to the roof. And then we will be having an apron flashing. So we're going to share detail of these 3 standard flashing in the subsequent slide, right? Okay, so this one is, as mentioned by Eric, all this actually can download on site, on website. It's called standard detail drawing. And this is called the ridge capping standard detail drawing. Not sure whether you can see the pattern here. Actually, it's look like in the way that is just cap it in between the two roofing sheets. So as I mentioned, when you use this standard detail drawing for, let's say, small project or this project that you do not need to have such special detail, maybe some contractor will come back to you to ask you some detail, right? So today I will highlight those important points that maybe you need to be aware of when you still use a standard detail drawing. All right. Let's say for this one, as you can see here, we put it the clause as the if formula required for roof below 15 degrees. So what does it mean is, I'm not sure are we bringing the formula sample today? I will show you graphically how it looks like. So this means that if you have a very gentle roof, less than 15 degrees, we will advise you to put in the formula because we avoid for the backflow of the water, rainwater. So how the formula looks like, let's say I take this profile as example. The formula will be looking something like this. Actually, it's a kind of form. It's very light form, and will cut according to the roofing profile so that you can fit in very fitly to the profile itself before you put in the ridge capping, so that it will prevent the water to be flow in from the ridge. So this only applicable for gentle roof. Let's say you have a very steep roof, like more than 15 degrees, actually you can just eliminate it because the backflow chances will be very, very low. All right. Okay, so come to the ridge capping design consideration. So let's say you have a gable roof with two sides of the roofing sheet, then you have this ridge capping coming in. So let's put it into a question to the audience. Any idea that why we have this so-called a king at the top? Anyone would want to try? Maybe you just can just blindly guess the function of it. Anyone? Kind of, yeah. I think you could try. Yeah, maybe I can pass you the one. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, because this one mainly is for the expansion and contraction movement, especially for the long roof. So if you not create that, it maybe create a micro crack that maybe will create corrosion. So I think this gentleman is right in the way that, because especially when you design the long roof, the factory or the warehouse, because the contraction, the thermal movement will be very severe when exposed to the sun. So you better to have this kind of king to create to let it to move, because you will be screw in the capping into two sides and the roofing is moving. You will not allow this. Worst case, you will be having a big crack, so-called, and another so-called a minor problem is you have a micro crack that you don't know, then you create a rust on it. Okay. So anyone will guess for this another turn there? As I mentioned, every band of the flashing is having a function. So anyone would like to try what the function of it is related to rainwater? Yes, backflow. Yeah, you're right. So this one is to prevent the backflow of the water. So this one, because normally water will flow in this direction, but you can't control the wind. When you have a strong wind, maybe the water will backflow. So this king is very important to prevent the water to backflow into the inner area. Okay, this is for the ridge capping. So you will see something is repeated in the subsequent sharing, because some bending is actually sharing the same function. Okay, let's come to the barge capping. Barge capping, which is parallel to the roof. Okay, which is look like this bending. All right. Okay, you will see this clause there. Very important that is saying that additional support to be provided to install the main contractor. So why do we need this additional support? Because let me just explain graphically. You will be having the barge capping in that way, right? And then you will have a two screw to screw into the rib of this profile, like that other profile will be screwing to other profile, two screw. Then how about you finding the area, to screw in this area, because your purlin is running in this way, right? So you have no way to support the barge capping and you will not screw it in, you will be gradually be open when the wind is coming in. So that's why in order to have the secure of this barge, so we will always encourage or advise that you need to create additional support in between the purlin to purlin so that you can screw it in. All right. So this is for the barge capping. So another thing is for this is the barge capping, and the so-called the roofing sheet. Okay, so this one, what's the function? Similarly, is as I saying that actually repeated the same function when you see the thing. It's prevent for the backflowing of the water. But maybe create another doubt here, right? The question is, we already have first rib and second rib here to prevent the water to flow in. Why do we need to have this king to prevent the water? Because why? Because that you just imagine that the flashing without the king in that way, the water coming in, because the water will try to find a way to flow in, right? So it will stick on the flashing upper area, then gradually floating into the inner areas. So in order to prevent the water to be seep in into this flashing, we need this king to prevent the water in touch with the bottom part of the flashing. So this is also a very important angle to be created for the barge capping. Okay, so another thing is talking about the tip here, all right? The tip here. So another one, anyone to try? Actually, this one is related to the aesthetic and also water stain. So you want to try what is the function of it? Yeah, it's a drip piece. Thanks. Okay. Yeah, it's for the drip and also for the aesthetic, because every bending, as I mentioned here, if you're not bending in that way, it will be very flimsy. So eventually you will see this kind of oil canning, especially on the barge. Because the barge dimension, it depends on the system build up that you use on site. If you have if you're achieving the higher U value or STC, you will have a big so-called build up, right? Then your barge capping, you'll be having a very deep barge in this way. If you're not doing this angle here, you may be seeing this kind of effect, the oil canning on the flashing. So no matter how you present the roofing in that way, by using the roofing product, eventually you see this thing, you'll be heartbreaker. Okay. Okay, so this reduce the oil canning. Another thing is, as gentleman mentioned, is for the seal up the gap to prevent for the water dripping. Because why is you just imagine if you do not have this king, this piece is directly in touch with the wall. Eventually, you will be having a dirt stain on the wall by itself. So to prevent the water to in touch with the wall directly, we bring this small dipping area. Whatever water in touch with this area or this area will be dipping out in this. It creates a certain distance from the wall. So this is the function of it for the barge capping with this band. Right. And now we come to the apron. Apron, we have two types. One is a transverse, the other one is longitudinal. What is a transverse is when the roof is floor in this way and your apron flashing is here, we call it transverse. Okay. So we have a lot of words here, right? Actually, this is a step of installation. So I will explain one by one. You will see the first one is saying that you need to cut 20 by 20 mm groove to be provided. So which means that if you have a brick wall or concrete wall, you need to cut a groove here before the installation. And then you will be having the bottom one, the bottom flashing to be installed first, of course, with the silicone sealant to be sealed up here. Okay, this is the first piece. And then you will be having the second piece to tuck in into the groove with the silicone sealant. So this is the detail that we show in the standard detail, that how we install the apron flashing for transverse. So we'll be having two pieces of flashing. So I explain later why we have two pieces. How about the longitudinal? Longitudinal is because it's parallel to the roofing sheet, right? So you do not have the angle. You see the difference, right? Let me just go back. For this one, you're having the angle for the bottom sheet because you have to parallel with the roofing sheet angle. But this one will be the flat one because You do not need to have angle. You just parallel to the roofing sheet. So similarly to the transverse that you're having you need to cut a groove onto your concrete or the brick wall before installation. Then you install the first piece with the silicone sealant, okay, screw in. Then you tuck in the second one, and also with the silicone sealant to seal it. All right. So this is how it looks like. We have having two pieces for the apron flashing. So this one is a similar. So we will repeat the same function, right? We will have this to prevent the water backflow. And then this one is to reduce the oil canning because you can see from the eye, right? So yeah, this is another one. This is a new one that you want to try that why we split into two pieces rather than one. Anyone want to try? It's related to the installation and also the maintenance. So anyone want to try on it? During installation and also for the maintenance. Yeah. So yes. Anyone just get another one for you. Thank you very much. Yes, it's for the maintenance. Sorry, installation. It's for installation. Okay, let's put an example. I think some of you maybe see this kind of detailing. I would say that when you see this kind of detailing, my advice is you straight away have to reject it because you easily to get the water seepage and create a lot of problem. Why is that so? Okay. When you see this kind of detailing one pieces without tucking, they're just saying that I put the sealant, no problem. My sealant can guarantee you many years, won't have any problem. But sealant is polymer. Polymer is when exposed to sunlight, it will gradually become brittle. So when you have a certain movement, you will be cracking or disclosed. Then water will sink in. Then all your wool will be soaked with water. Then eventually will damage your roofing sheet with corrosion. So with this kind of scenario or this kind of case, you won't cover under warranty because of the detailing problem. So this one have to very be careful because I see one case with that in Johor. They're just doing in that way. Actually, all the mineral wool is soaked with water. All the wool soaked with water, then the roofing sheet is corroded. Okay, so maybe some of you say, oh, how about I doing this way? It's good enough, right? I tucked in already. It's doing good, right? So just just like the gentleman mentioned, is for installation. Actually, flashing it come with a minimum 3 meter, maximum 6 meter length. If you want to tuck in that way with one pieces, there will be a problem in that way. On site, people will cut it with this grinder, right? The worker won't have the skill to grind in one full pieces for you. So eventually you cannot tuck in into the group. There will just some places tuck in, some places exposed. You just have to check it thoroughly. Okay. So to reduce the issue is we will install the bottom part, then we install it segment by segment so that we can tuck in effectively on that. And also another thing is why we have two pieces is actually just I mentioned maintenance. Because when people doing maintenance on roof, they will find the flat area to walk on it. Right? So you just imagine if I put it in one pieces, people step on the flashing, it will just tear off from the roof. So we make it two pieces. You'll be having a so-called joint in between, so that easy for moving, right? Okay, now we come to the wall. So before we talk about the wall flashing and detailing, let me just share about what is non-system and a system wall, so that maybe in the future when you design a project, maybe you consider to use one of it. If you're having any question or anything, you can just come to us directly for the detailing issue, especially for the structural detailing. Okay, start with the non-system wall. Non-system wall, which means that it's a pure cladding, which means you already have a existing brick wall or concrete wall. Then what the contractor will propose is you put in a short pieces or the L anchor, right, in a certain distance, maybe 600 or 900, kind of that. Then you will install another L anchor in long length. Okay, that one I think not many of the structural design because it's just supported cladding. And then you will install the cladding accordingly. Then you will be having this kind of the example as shown is in these two photos, which means you'll be having the cladding on top of your brick wall or concrete wall. But this one is mainly for the aesthetic. It doesn't play any function of the sound and insulation because the brick wall or concrete already play the function of it. So the steel is just mainly for the aesthetic, for the design only, for the cladding only, right? So this is called non-system wall. Then how about the system wall? System wall, which means that you only have two vertical support, either it's concrete or steel column, kind of that, right? So the following graphic is just one of the solution for the system wall. Actually, there's a many way to treat it. So this system wall, what I'm going to show is just on top of the vertical support, which means you'll be having a second, okay? Or actually it's kind of like purling, the side purling, because you will be support the wall from column to column. From column to column, I think it's quite a distance away, like 5 meters, 6 meters away, kind of that. So you need to have a second, or we call it as a second purling, okay, in long length. Then after that, you will putting the wool in between, okay. Then the packing, actually it depends on the design of or the building owner so-called requirement. You can put this steel cladding, you can put gypsum board, cement board, or whatever the thing that you want to cover the side or the behind it. And then outside, we're putting the steel cladding as what we do for the non-system wall. All right. Then you will see this is kind of the example as shown. Actually, this is a real case. So on top, this one is a steel cladding at the outside. And then we have an internal steel cladding inside. So for the system wall, we are not only playing the aesthetic function, but also playing the sound and heat insulation. This one have to design accordingly. So which means that you need to approach the roof former to design the U value or the SCC that you require for, so that they can design the system accordingly, right? So this is in between the non-system and the system wall, just a very general information sharing. But no matter one of it, the detailing or the flashing that we use is more or less the same. So we'll share it to you now. Okay, so for the first of the sharing about the wall flashing detail, I will just share on the standard one. Then we'll share on the special one. So for the standard wall flashing, we have only these two types. Okay, we will be having the external corner flashing, which is whatever exposed to the weather. Then you have the internal corner flashing, which is what you see inside of the building. All right. Then you will be having the paraback capping. All right. So this is so-called the standard flashing that we use for the wall. So how does it look like? I will show you in one by one. Okay, so this is the standard detail of the external and internal corner flashing. As mentioned, you can get it on website. So for this profile, you will see that two type. This is so-called the external, have different bending. This is outer 90 degrees, inner 90 degree. So for the internal, you will see more or less the same. Just the installation method will be slightly different based on the lapping and overlapping. Okay, so this is the only difference of the flashing length and the width is based on the profile that you use. Okay. Okay, so let me just explain a little bit detail on that. So if you have a project that you lay the wall in vertically, in this case, okay, so in plan view, it will look like this. Then you will be having the capping in that way, external corner flashing. Okay, this is how it looks like. And you will be having, let's say you have an existing brick wall or concrete wall in between or insulation. So the orange color is so-called either it's a wool or the wall. Then you have let's say your internal the cladding is steel, and you also orientate it vertically, so the corner flashing will be look like this. So it's more or less the same, right? So it's not much different, just that the bending will be opposite to each other. Okay, so similarly, as you can see, so whatever the bending function that you use for roof actually similar to the wall. So when you see the thing, either is for the backflow of the water or reduce oil canning is more or less the same. So we will repeat the function. So if you can catch the concept, actually applicable for roof and wall. So this one actually to reduce oil canning. for the especially for the external, because external is on eye level, everybody can see it. So it's very important that you maybe if you didn't see it, maybe you have to insist on that to reduce oil canning on the flashing for the external wall. Okay, you also can do it in that way. It's a 180-degree bend. So this one, either you choose the previous one or this one, is depends on the bending machine facility and the skill of the supplier that you're looking for. So it doesn't matter, either you can do this way or that way. The only difference is if you do this 180-degree bending, you can applicable for all kind of the profile that you use. Because for the previous one, it's limited to the certain profile that you use. You have to adjust the, let me just show it back. Because that, you see this bending, right? It depends on the rib. So if you choose different profile, this length, you have to adjust according to the profile if you use this detail. But if you use this one, you'll have a more flexibility because when you do 180-degree bend, you create the stiffness, no oil canning, then you can use it for all kind of profile that you use for your project. So this is a difference between the bending of these two different flashing, all right? Then how about we orientate it in horizontally? So what is the difference? So let's say you have a project that you orientate it horizontally. So the flashing detail is actually is the same. You will see the pattern the same, but you need to install the form filler to prevent it. Actually, some of you will be saying that, or maybe not necessary if the flashing detail is doing a good way. Sorry, yes. So for this one, what we are showing now is a cladding itself. So cladding itself, actually your brick wall or concrete wall should be the fire rated component to resist it. So for cladding itself, it depends on the project. If some project we need it, we will based on project to do the 414 test for the submission. Actually, we did it before for one project for the spandex. Yeah. So for formula, actually we are not, because for the 8.4, we are not come to the flashing detail testing based on the main wall flashing. So for the minor area, I think it's not really in the part of the 8.4 testing. Yeah. So for this detailing, there's a one important thing that I would like to highlight. You see that actually the flashing you will see the similar for when you orientate it vertically, right? But one thing is different is that you need to do notching. The notching. If you orientate your wall horizontally, then your flashing may need to do notching on it. So what does it mean by notching? Notching is, let's say I put it in as a roof. This is a so-called the roof flashing. So this is so-called the notching tool. You will see it on site. Roofer will have it. Sometimes they will use it to notch it, or sometimes they will use the cutter to cut it. So how does it work is they will cut it in the interval opening in that way, so it can fit into the profile that in this way. Okay, they cut the opening so they can fit into the rib. Okay, but some of it do not have the notching. They will just cut it one by one, but it's very, very time consuming because the worker need to cut it for the whole length of the roof to cut it, or the wall. So after they cut it, they will fit in very fitly to the rib, to the profile. So that's why if you orientate it horizontally, you need to fit into the profile itself, you need to do notching. Right. No, the roofer will be having the tools on site. On the factory, all will be a flat without any notching. On site, they will just cut it one by one, or they will notch it one by one. If you have a tool, very fast, they will talk about it. Just notch it and fit into the profile itself. Yeah. Okay, for this one also, reduce oil canning and also prevent the water penetration, because when you orientate it horizontally, there will be a possibility the water sitting there through the valley, right? So that's why this is very important to prevent the water penetration. Okay. Okay, let's just share with you on the parabet capping. There will be two types of it. I will show option 1 and option 2. So let's say you have a steel wall oriented vertically, okay? Then you can either use a parapet without notching. Without notching, you can do in that way, that you just screw it onto the rib of the steel wall. Okay, this is option 1. Then you have another option 2 is similarly, you orientate it vertically, right? Then you need to do notching. You do the notching, then you will screw the flashing, the capping into the rib. So both is still screw into the rib, but one with notching, one without notching. There will be a 2 option for the parapet wall capping. Price right? Price wise, that one I don't think is a part of the installation cost from roofer. It depends on the requirement. Yeah, because for roofer they will be having 2 prices, one for the main roof, one for the flashing, right? So for flashing, maybe they will mark a bit higher if you want to do all the notching, but it's marginally.
Flashing is actually depends on the like what is the bending that you require. Then they will charge based on the bending. The flashing with margin.
No, because you do it in factory, there will be a problem that possibility on site cannot match it. So they will, because the flashing will come with a segment, like I mentioned, maybe 3 meter or 6 meter kind of length. So they will on site to based on the location of the rib, they will notch it accordingly to fit it accordingly. So
The rib is consistent.
the rib is consistent, but because there will be some area that you cut it according to the roof area that you design for. So we are not really install all the roofing sheet with the full pieces. Like for example, we have a big roof, 10 pieces with full width. Maybe last pieces I already cut maybe 2/3 or half of it to fit into the roof area. So in that case, the capping, you have to do it on site to match it back to the roof. So because of all the design will be different in the building, so we can't really fit exactly the full pieces. So that's why we cannot do the flashing with notching on in the factory. Right. Okay. So that's a so-called a standard wall flashing. So now I'm going to share so-called a special flashing. Actually, not that special. It's just talking about the opening. All right. So I put it as an example. You will see that you'll be having a short length roof, long length roof, and also the opening here, right? So I will going to share with you on the intermediate trim flashing. This is what I mentioned in the beginning that for architect, you create more design option to you. You no need to have to use the full length of the wall as a steel wall design. You can just terminate a certain way so that creates some termination or using a different colors, all right, for the wall design. So this is how we use intermediate trim flashing to terminate it to create more design option for the wall. And we will be having, I will share with you on the opening of the side trim of the flashing. And we'll be having the opening top trim flashing and talk about the trim bottom flashing. So opening will be a bit tedious. There will be a kind of a different flashing detail for the opening. So, but the following one I'm going to share with you for the opening actually applicable for all kind of opening that you use for your project. Okay. Okay, so let's start with the intermediate trim flashing. This is how it looks like. We'll be having like a sack band, but we just turn it 90 degrees. And this is how it looks like for the standard detail. So you will see that we will always put in this additional support here. Because whenever you need to create the termination of the roof, or the wall, that is not continuous, you need to have additional support to support the top and bottom area. So we will no longer just have a so-called a standard good spacing that you can use it for the termination. You need to additional support to support the termination point. Okay, so for this, this is how it looks like in graphically, the intermediate trim. So you will be having the wall here, and then you'll be having this so-called the intermediate trim flashing. So this one, anyone want to try? What is the function with the 150-degree bend? It's just repeated as the same function as a wall. Yeah. Yes. Sorry. This is also for the water trip. It's similar like the, thank you very much for it. This is also for the water trip and also for the reduce the oil canning also. So it's similarly like the sharp band that we shared just now. It's also create the water drip and also for to enhance that there's no oil canning. So as I mentioned, wall is more important than roof because all the thing is on eye level. So it's very important that you have to reduce whatever the non-aesthetic things as possible. So this is for the reduce the oil canning. So maybe some of you may be asking that way, why not we bend in that way? The U shape, it save a lot of material and easier, right? So any idea or anyone want to try that? Why we not do it in that way? Water will go in. Yes, that's on your it's like this. Yeah. So standard line is there a line dimension? Yeah, the good line. Yes. Is there a standard line? You mean the whole pieces? Yeah, the whole pieces, yes. As I mentioned, by jingling, we'll be having a certain standard girth length. So we will try to play around with the girth length to bend it accordingly. So it just depends on how many bend you want.
It will be like that, in that shape.
On the side already in that shape, we will bend it in the factory and deliver to the site. So as mentioned by jingling that the roll former will charge according to the bending that you want. If you have a lesser bending, you will be cheaper. Yeah, you have more bending, then you'll be higher price. Yeah. So come back to that. Actually, yes, this one will have a water ponding issue. You have nowhere to get the water to drip off. In fact,
when you think that this one is really need to be installed on site, can't you actually put it in the under the roof, element that will be easier for them? Should the architect is not really aware of this one, so they probably forget and miss it. So if that thing come with the roof, it will be easier.
yeah, right. So that's why we need your help on that because most of the time when we supply the thing, sometimes they're not getting the flashing from us. The roofer or the installer, they will do it themselves. That's why I just share with you just now about the apron flashing the case. The installer, they will just do it themselves. They think this is the way. So I think the gatekeeper will be from architect side. You will see the thing and say, no, I will reject it because it's not compliant. Like for example, this case, if let's say the flashing, the installer is not getting from us, they're doing that way. And then in certain way, they get through the gatekeeper, they get past it, then the water ponding will create a deterioration of the material. So that's why we need your help as a gatekeeper that if you see something not right on site or they propose by the installer, which they just buy the roofing sheet from us, but not the flashing together, then you have to reject all these non-compliance. Yeah.
Orientate the roofing sheet vertically and horizontally. You got any question for that?
Actually, we can do that. Actually, just that we need to have a special detail on that. Actually, it can share the same similar flashing detail, but we need to have a certain changes on that. Actually, this intermediate trim flashing is let the designer to have more design option like orientation, different profile, colors. Yeah. So this is the intention of that. You're right. Yeah. You can do so, but the support structure will be a bit tedious because the support structure will be oriented different. For this one, you orientate that way for the vertical, then horizontal you need to do in that way. So as long as the structurally can do it, actually for detailing, no problem. Yeah. Yeah.
How to handle the joining?
Join in between the.
Flashing. How is that?
You mean this one? Okay. So This one is okay, as I mentioned, this one will be supporting by the upper structure, right? So you will see the sequence of installation lah. Because this one have to be installed first before this one. So after you install the bottom one, either is horizontally or vertically lah. Then you need to install this trim flashing, then you only install the top one. Yeah, so it's just the sequence on it. So I hope I answered it. No. Okay, the trim flashing actually depends on your building wall design. Yeah, it can continuous, but actually I mentioned because of the flashing have a limitation of the bending machine. So you'll be having a joint, the joint about 150 or 200 joints in between. Yeah, overlapping. Okay, now we talk about the opening side trim flashing. So I will show you with the window example, but if you have any other opening, actually it's applicable. But if you're not sure, no problem, just anytime come to us, we'll just explain to you. So this is a typical example of the so-called, you see I'm not sure whether you see the difference. This is a window, this is a wall, right? So you'll be having a different way to do the trimming. For this one is, you'll be having the flashing that in touch with the window frame, right? So for this one is, you will be aligned with the support that not in touch with the window frame. So why there's a difference is really depends on the communication in different parties. Like for example, let's say the window supplier is saying that no, don't touch the thing here because I will come in very, very late for the installation. You just do the thing, whatever you want, I will come later. So the detailing will be slightly different in between. So you just let your role former know that we'll just detail it accordingly. But how the concept is, how we detail it, I will share it now. Okay, so you will see that no matter you are doing later or what, we will always put in, you need to have a seal with the silicone sealant. Why we have that? We need to understand the installation or the construction sequence. Okay. So normally we will be having the brick wall come out first, right? Then the contractor will say, hey, installer, walling installer, please come in and do your cladding. Right? So the installer will come in to do the steel wall installation. So after that, we cannot wait the window come in, right? So we need to finish our work first. So we will install the side trim flashing. Then after that, all the window people come in and do the installation. So you will see the joint in between the flashing and the window frame. So in order to seal up the water passage here, we will always saying that you need to have a silicone sealant. So because window installer will be the last one, so there have to be a party to do the sealant installation application. So this one maybe also need more help to ensure that they do it accordingly. Otherwise, the water will sit in the passage. So how it looks like, you're doing that well. So of course that you will do the top also is the best, but I think I will share with you why that I'm not showing the top with the silicone sealant, because we really have a flashing to seal it up. Okay, so this is how it looks like. This is the top, and this is the bottom. So the top will be look similar like this. They will be having two pieces, right? One inner, one outside. Then at the bottom, we will be having like the side that you will be having one piece, and then you will be having the silicone sealant. So, but why we did it in that way is I will show you later on. Okay, so this is how we do for the top. We have wall gird, right? Then we come in with the top trim flashing. Then we put in this additional support. Okay, we screw into the support. Then we have a steel wall. There's one important point here. I see the steel wall has been trimmed according to the site condition. I will explain it. So then the window or door frame. So as you can see here, because we have a flashing really close up with the window. So normally that when that case, I think for door frame installer lah. They will still do the sealant, but not in that area, maybe from the inner lah. Because for the window installer, they will normally do the sealant outside and inside, right? So they will do the sealant that way. But outside already have the flashing to seal up the passageway in that way. So what does it mean by to be trimmed according to the site condition is, let's say you're having the installation from top to bottom, all right? Okay, then you will be having the last piece in that way that you are not install the full pieces that you need to trim accordingly. So you need to trim it accordingly to the window frame. So for this one, then you will be losing the support that to be installed onto the wall structure, right? So then you need to create this additional support so that it can just screw in into the additional support for the last pieces. So this is when the case that you cannot frame it accordingly. So this one actually additional support can be applicable top and bottom. It's not only for the top. Just depends on the last pieces is how you install it. So for the bottom, similarly, we have a wall gird. Then you install the wall, right? Then you just put in the flashing, window frame. Then you put in the sealant. Okay. So this one is when you have a perfect case that you install the full pieces from the bottom, then you don't need to have additional support. Otherwise, let's say it's similar to just now the case I shown, you need to have an additional support here to install the last piece of the wall sheet. All right. So this is detail for when you have a wall oriented horizontally. All right. Okay, so I think that's it for my session. So any question or anything that you want to share? Yeah.
Are they all screwed or clipped? All the tapping and
For all the flashing, you need to use screw, but in some cases they will use rivet lah. But very seldom they will just use screw because easily to be installed. Yeah. Spec, we always encourage to use the same spec as a wall, which is a class 3 screw, because we always encourage that whenever you use a flashing, you have to use the same material for the main roof, so that the deterioration or the degrading will be at the same time. I will share later on when choosing the right material. So that's why when it comes to the screw, you always have to use back the same screw that you use for the main wall. Yeah.
Whenever I like to cover the end part, how do I do that?
You mean at the eave you need to bend it in. Okay, so I think is what we do for the seaming profile, right? The seaming profile that have a big pan, you need to bend it. So that one a bit tricky. That I think, yeah. Oh, you want to cover the thing? That one we will be having another detailing called blue nose, a small flashing. You can do it in so-called semi-curve. We have the detail on it. You can share it with you. Yeah, no problem. So Jing can thanks. Detailing assistant. Yes. Okay. All right. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Yeah, you're right. Actually, for what you see just now is all the standard detail lah. So that one is only can use for the small project like cut house. All this is you don't need to do so-called special detail. But for big project, you always encourage to approach low former, because they will be getting the architecture drawing from you and also the structure drawing from you, so that we can detail the thing that is practically can do on site. Then you will use that to call the tender. Then you will be okay that the contractor won't come back to you to say, hey, did you not give me this detail? I need some BO from it. Yeah, so I will advise that always come to the role former to get a detail on that for your project.
Thank you. The way that we did some of the bigger projects is that we need to put it in the detail for the shop drawings. all these details are actually in the shop drawings, right? Because if you use Lysat, sometimes you use so the installer, the fabricator are the ones issuing this shop drawing using your products. All the detailing has to be coming from them, from the specialists. Yeah? Is that correct?
Let me just put it this way: is for shop drawing, yes, definitely is for the installer. They need to give you all the shop drawing before for the installation for your approval. But the thing is, for tender, it's concerned about the tender, because when you tender, you not put in all the detail. You just put it that for the contractor recommendation or the for contractor detail. If they try in the IFI to you, but you still know don't answer, but eventually when the installer come into you to say, oh, I need to add this structure because of that, I need to do this detail because you not give me in the beginning, then I will consider this is a quite a quick VO for the contractor to claim it to the client side. So I think, yeah.
The way we do it is that we put it as specialist facade design, but architect has to show the form, generally, how you do the detailing, and then put it into the BQ or whatever that it has to be specialist design. That's where you come in, you or G or whatever. That's because we are architects, we cannot use specifically your detail or this is like Lisa is different from the other. Then sometimes we cannot really specify your name even in the
Yeah, I think this is quite valid comment. I think it's right that some project we are not too biased. So I think BQ is one thing. Then the another thing is practically that the tender drawing, like for example, if you plug in standard detail into the tender drawing, I think you can cover yourself. You say, I show you this thing. If you not clear, come to me, I clarify for you. Rather than no standard detail, no detail to them, then they come back and say, oh, you not show me in the beginning, or all this structure, all this I need to claim you, all this. So it's you're right. Some different roof former will be having a different way to do the standard detail, but I would say that more or less will be the same. Will not be run much.
but you need to specify that it has to be done by a specialist contractor. That's very important because we cannot design all these things, right? This is a wall specialized products. Roof cladding, curtain wall is the same thing. Okay?
Totally agree. So at least you put in some detail in that, but you're saying that is subject to contractor final shop drawing for approval all this. So I think this is very important because most of the time I just see that the PQ is spelled very clearly about material profile, but when come to detail, there's no detail. Then eventually, I think the worst case is that come into RFI, then you only come to the roofer to come out, then you'll be too late. So I think maybe it's good that during the project beginning, maybe you get some preference role former to work together with you for the PQ drawing and also for the PQ writing. Then will be matched to all the things that cover yourself. Yeah, so this is my point of that. Yeah. So any comment or anything you want to share about that? So I think without holding all the time, I think we start now, and also don't want to hold up the time from those join online. So now we're going to start on the second half session. So this one is more on practical things that you need to consider when you design the wall in your projects. And for first two, as I mentioned, I will just share about how to choose the right material for the flashing by itself, and also how you select the right profile for your wall design. Then I will hand over to Jingling to share the case study. I think this is more interesting. For the case study, you will know a lot of things that happened for this particular project. Maybe can help you in your design. All right. Yeah. So let's start the first one to select the right material. So the right material is mainly focused on the flashing. All right. So yeah, this is the thing that you need to highlight that normally, especially for the contractor side, because as I mentioned just now, when people come to us to buy the material, we don't know what kind of project they're supplied to. But like contractor is saying that, oh, all the material, the big area, I use a premium one, then that's okay already. All the small area, I cannot be seen. So I just use a cheaper product to cut costs so that can improve their margin. But in the real case, it doesn't work that way lah, because if you just thinking that the big area I can maintain premium, the small area nobody can see, actually everybody can see lah, because it's pretty obvious. I will show you the how it work, the problem will be. Okay, so there will be a two unpleasant scenario that you put two different material together. Let's say, for example, the contractor saying that, oh, I just buy the premium for the main roof. The rest I just buy GI, cheaper. I just powder coat it or what, then just install it. They will be having in that way that lifetime will be different, two material, because the least active material will cannibalize the other one. So which means the other material that's weak will be corrode first. Then the other one will be maintained as a good, so-called the good position. Then the other one is the outlook. Outlook, which means that because two different material and two different painting technology, right? So they will be having the fading in different aging also. So you will be seeing the color fading in different way for your flashing and also your main material. So how does it work? I will show you in subsequent. So this is about the cannibalization, about the lifetime. You will see this is a very generic table that you can get it online. You will see a lot of this now. So call it corrosion table. You will be having the least active and the most active material. So how it works is, if you push the least active material together with the most active material, the most active material will corrode first. So this is a very classic photo that I would like to share with you. So you see the pole and this particular bolt and nut here in a very good condition, right? But the rest of the area, the fans and this steel and also this particular bolt and nut already corroded. So why does it happen is because you putting two different metal together, the most active one will corrode first. So we will be having this so-called technical bulletin 12. We're putting all the material that can put in together and which one shouldn't be putting together as a recommendation. So if you're interested to have a copy, you just contact us anytime. We'll provide it to you so you get aware that which material can put it together. So I just want to highlight that most of the time when people think of corrosion, let me put it back here. They will think of corrosion that it means that you see this thing, it means corrosion. So it doesn't really in that case. Why that? Because different metal, it will be corrode differently. So like, for example, copper, when it corrode, it turn green, right? Silver, when corrode, it turn black. Aluminium, when it turn corroded, it will turn gray or white. So which means that all metal will corrode. You just think that which one will be faster first. So when you corrode, when you don't see the red rust, it doesn't mean that it's not corrode. So this is very important because I heard a lot of people saying that aluminium not corroded. That's why they're saying that aluminium, they can use it in a very high corrosive environment. The answer is no, because aluminium will also corrode. As you can see, aluminium is at the most active area. So it also corrode, but just that you won't see the red rust. You will see another kind of rust, which is the white and gray rust. So just highlight to you that metal will be corroded, just differently. So as I mentioned, this is the technical bulletin 12. It's mentioned that what kind of product can be in touch with the metallic coating material. If you're interested to have a copy of that, just contact us anytime after this. All right. Okay, this is some bad example that you put two things together. As you can see, it doesn't really affect the aesthetically wise, but it also affect the performance. Performance in the sense is the way it support the loading, especially the wind load or any bearing load. So in a sense that when you come to this scenario, you can't really support any loading. And also this is a very classic example, although it's not metallic coating, but you can see that the window frame, or this is a very classic one. You see the pole and the frame all rusted, but your so-called the premium product still in a good condition. I think this is the last thing you want to see in your project. So as I said, what we can do not much, but maybe need you to as a gatekeeper when you contractor propose to use any flashing, no worry I can just use any product, small area, but it doesn't work that way. All the things have to be the same material that you can aging together and control the quality together. So yeah, this is the classic case. And also the board. The board is as shared just now, for all the boarding that used for the flashing, it had to be the same as you use for the main roof, which is the class 3 like this, so that you won't see that your walling sheet is still in good condition, but all the exposed screw head is start to corrode and create all the stain. Okay. And this is about the color. So color will be having the color fading or color choking. Because let's say you're using the material for flashing, they're using a different painting technology or painting system. So they will be react differently when exposed to the UV radiation. So when you expose it to the sun, then I think this is the nightmare. You will see that the roof the color is in good condition, but all the flashing is already faded, the colors. So although that people will say that, oh, it will be easy to be changed for flashing in not like roofing sheet. You can just take it out and change it. But still the cost. Because why? When the building is already done, you need to erect all the scaffold or order the bone lift to repair all these. Actually, it's higher cost than you choose the right material during the construction stage. So this is the thing that is very important, that you choose the right, using the same product as a roofing for the roofing and walling flashing. Okay, so now I will just share about choosing the right product or the profile for walling. So normally what we advise designer to design for the wall is, if you would like to use a steel wall, we will advise you to orientate it vertically, because it will be easy for maintenance, because it's easy for cleaning it. Even the rainwater coming down, it will be easy to wash out. So the worst case is you orientate it horizontally, because the rib will collect certain dirt. And the worst is you're having a big pan. So come to here, maybe you're thinking that I advise you not to orientate it horizontally, but you still can do it. But you need to do certain consideration in your design when you orientate the wall horizontally. So this is some of the advice. If you really want to design the wall horizontally, you advise to use so-called the closed rib profile, like corrugated product. So can you reduce the white pan? Because whatever white pan, you will see quite obvious all the dirt that you collected on the wall. And if you would like to say, this is so industrial look, I don't like it, I want to have a white pan, you still can do it. You can use a white pan, but you better choose those so-called the low rib or the flat panel, so that it can easily to wash away. Like this case is so-called the X-Rush. It's a flat panel, so that you can easily to get all the dirt to wash away, rather than the high rib. So this is some consideration you can take in. Then next is talk about the oil canning. So I think this one, no matter is for roof or for wall, I think if you use a white pan product, you will see oil canning, right? Actually, just to highlight, oil canning actually is not a defect. It's just the reflectivity of the surface. So if you take a look of the windows, or maybe if you take a look of the steel that used for the bars, you will see all this oil canning. It's happened to all the surfaces. Just that if you put in a certain angle to the sun, you would put it pretty obvious for this oil canning. So how are we going to reduce the oil canning if you would like to use a big pan product? And actually, this not only happen vertically, horizontally, you will see this kind of oil canning effect. So how are we going to reduce the oil canning effect? So this is some of the suggestion or the recommendation. So if you would like to use it, so either you use a corrugated, which means that like this kind of corrugated profile, okay, you won't see the oil canning pretty obvious on that. Or you want to use a big pan like this one, you just ensure that the pan have a kind of the stiffener. What does it mean by stiffener? Is it's either longitudinal in the pan, you will see two fluid on top of it, or you will see some micro fluid that reduce oil canning. So which means you can choose a product that not 100% flat, you will see some foot on top, then you will reduce the oil canning. So this is one of the suggestion. Then the other one is for the color. Maybe you can consider to use a light color in low gloss. Like for example, like matte or this, you will reduce the oil canning effect onto your wall. Okay? So this is one of the suggestion. Then the other one is, this is what I mentioned just now about the system wall. So if you have a system wall, actually whatever you use a backing, we also can reduce oil canning, no matter is using the rib profile or the flat profile, you will reduce oil canning. So of course that when come to the core value, the core material to put into together, it depends on your building design. If a certain project that have to comply 8414, then this system have to go through the testing to ensure that it comply accordingly. Because whatever the backing material is very important to comply the 8414 is more than 18 meters of your building design. Right. Then number 4 is the most important, no matter you orientate it vertically or horizontally, or what kind of so-called the colors or the material you use. Because this thing is, actually I encountered this many times, that no matter it's for the roof or the wall, because when come to the good installation, because it's always come to the end of the structural responsibility. So the monitoring of the alignment is not there. So when all the structure is done, they hand over to the roofer coming, oh my God, all your alignment seems like not there. But the contractor says, you don't care, just carry on the work, no time already. They just install it. So if the alignment run off, even though you choose the right color, right product, the oil canning will be there permanently. So this one is very important, that we need to ensure that the alignment of the purlin or the girth to be installed on site correctly. And it's better that before handover, if possible, the roofer can come in and take a look, comment, then only can hand over back to roofer. Because otherwise it's very difficult to adjust it, because all the people run off already, then roofer come in, no choice, install it, then oil canning is there. You ask him to repair, they say no choice, how are you going to repair it, because your structure already proper. Then the roofer blame on the steel structure guy, structured you on the roofer, then no end. So this is the thing that maybe can come to the end of the project. Maybe this is the thing that maybe can invite roofer come and have a look and see whether everything in order before hand over to them for the installation. Yeah, so this is the advice on that. Okay, so I think that's it from my part. So I will keep the Q&A later after my colleagues share about the case study. So now I hand over to Jingling to share about the case study or some project, right? So Jing, hand over to you.
Okay, hi, I'm Jin Lei. So thanks for Chahao's sharing just now regarding on all the detailing for the facade. So I will start with the case study for our company. So today we will looking into 4 different projects, which is Asman Hashim Sports Center at Cebu, Torak Park Apartment at Kuching, Starbucks at Simpang Empat, and Maple Tree Logistic Warehouse at Shah Alam. So we'll kickstart with the Asman Hashim. So Asman Hashim Sports Center actually is located in Cebu. So I would like to ask you guys who have a wild guess, what types of profile that they are actually using in this. Actually, just now, my colleague, Mr. Eric, actually did mention what is the profile. Can someone have a wild guess on what types of profile is this? No, not it. It's not HR29. No, it's not sending sim. Flip lock, yes. So basically, this profile actually is using clip lock Optima. Okay. The architect ideal design actually is to be seamless. Just for information, for example, like clip lock, right? It's actually not meant to be bent profile. So architect actually want to his ideal design is actually to have the metal to be bent 90 degree. So do you think it's possible to do a 90-degree, a straight bend? Someone give me some answer, maybe. Yes, the answer is no. Okay, so how actually we want to achieve this design is actually they need to have a lot of special customization. So for your information, this project actually we are obtaining a 2023 PAM Award Silver at Sports and Recreation segments. So you can see we actually to have this kind of design, we need to have special customization from the from the roof to wall and also wall to wall. Why? Is because, like just now I mentioned, clip lock Optima is not meant to bend. So when they want to do all the bending or they want to do um the the connection between the roof to wall and wall to wall, actually they will need a special customization. For example, here they actually need to have a additional support, and also here they will need a additional support here as well. And and another question is that from this project, actually, can you guys have a wild guess what color is this? Just a wild guess. Silver. Sorry? Green. Green. Okay. So basically this color is actually a bare color, is our cingulum. So they're actually without any color is our bare finishes, which is a cingulum. So a lot of cingulum only, cingulum. Yeah. No, natural. Yes. So cingulum, usually people have a very stereotype types of thought. For example, they will think like, okay, if let's say I'm going to have a raw color, will it looks very old or very give you a very retro types of looks? Actually, no. So you can see most of the projects, if let's say you play with the design and color, is very important. So, okay, when it comes to this kind of design, right, actually, there are a few things that we need to look into is that communication. Like just now we did mention, I think some of the architect actually did ask that if let's say we are going to have those detailing, because the detailing that you'll find from our website will be the very, very standard detailing. So in order to have this kind of detailing, we actually need to work very well with the contractor and also the installer and also engineer as well. Because to achieve this kind of connection, for example, like here, the structure, they will need to determine how to do it. Because if let's say your structure here is not aligned with the architectural types of drawing, you will actually have the problem of water tightness problems. So other than that, and just for your information as well, like clip lock, right? It's when it comes to wall, they're actually harder to install because if let's say roof, right, they will just step on the rib and block it. So when it comes to the wall, they actually need to use the hand to press it. So when they press it, the extra force will be needed. So the cost actually will be higher. And just for your information, for this kind of projects, right, usually I have a thought is that because most of the architect actually they will have a thought, okay, since the project is all the same, why sometimes the installation cost is so high? It's because of the totality of the projects. So that is why communication between the budget and also the commitment on the workmanship and also the design is very important. So next stop we will go for the Simpang Empat Starbucks. So have anyone who went there before and have a look on this project? Yeah. Okay. Okay, just a small sharing because they did come up with statement saying that actually they didn't support any political things. But of course feel free to boycott or feel free to buy a drinks lah. Okay. So just for okay. Although for boycott, but we just look into the design today, okay? Yeah. So basically, when you look into the Starbucks Simpang Empat, right? So the design actually, do you find a similarity between this project and also just now Asman Hashim? A little bit of the similarity, right? However, it's actually slightly different on the profile. Later, I will show you what is the difference. Okay, so you see, this design actually, the Starbucks will be at the center of the iconic points. So, okay, a lot of people actually have the perspective. If let's say you have a metal type of building that center in the middle, will it feel like, oh, it's very glaring because it's metal, because of the reflection? Some more because you see from all of these panels, it's actually they're using glass panels. So when it comes to this kind of scenario, and they are actually need to be in the center, actually, what is the thing that we can do is that, okay, when it comes to this kind of building, actually, the selection of the profile, the selection of the color is playing a very, very important role. Why? Because when it comes to this kind of design, they are using standing seam. Like just now, from the first project, someone actually guessed is standing seam. For this project, they are using standing seam. And you also did notice that they're actually having here to have the spandex. So spandex is actually a corrugated profile, a very standard corrugated profile that happens to have it like, I mean, maybe older than me. I mean, the time frame that they're using. So does it looks very old school for you? No, right? It's because of the combination of the color. So if let's say with the right selection of the profile, for example, this one, the standing seam, and also the right profile, which here, because spandex usually looks really nice when it comes to the wall cladding. So these two different types of profile actually plays a contrast to let you know like how the metal actually can looks very nice equally without the contrast. Okay, another thing will be the matte finishes, because just now we did mention this one will be in the center of the project, in the center of the iconic points. So we are actually using the matte color, the matte finishes to reduce down the glaringness of the profile. So when you have this type and you have a look on the below part of this photo, actually this one is taken on sunset. So you can see sunset actually will be the time where you have the most sunlight that reflect. So you can see the reflectivity that doesn't really hurts our eyes. So selection of the color and also selection of the profile here actually give you a very clear mindset on how to do your selection. And another thing is you do realize, because this one is a cafe. So when it comes to cafe, right? A lot of people, when they go into a cafe and enjoy their coffee, what will be their concern when it comes to in a cozy environment? Can someone give me some idea? Like if let's say you are entering to a cafe, what is your concern when it comes to, as an architect, what is your concern when it comes to you entering a cafe? Some, something that related to your work, maybe. Sorry. Comfort, comfort, yes, but something that is more related to your work, maybe. Noise, yes, cool. Yes, noise. Yeah. So most of the time when it comes to the project that is having a metal roofing and also a metal cladding, importantly is the heat and also the noise. So if let's say you doesn't have any insulation, this place will become an oven. You will feel super, super hot. But if let's say you are with uh, the insulation, actually, it will actually not only help to reduce the heat and also reduce the heat and also reduce the sound dampening. So basically, we will help our client to do all those STC calculation and also the U value calculation just to ensure this project is in a more quiet environment. So not only this, actually, we also can see from this detail, actually, they are having the hidden gutter here, just to make sure, in terms of the aestheticness, it doesn't look very um, weird and also too traditional. Because if let's say you have the gutter outside, it will look a little bit weird because the connection part is there. And also, you can also see this one is the connection between the roof and also the wall. So they're actually using a flashing capping to cap it. So next up, I will talk about Korak Park apartment at Kuching. So this project actually, their idea design is to be high-end and also aesthetic. Initially, they are actually using the architect is actually from Italy. They have the idea of having the cotton steel. So cotton steel basically is a material that is slightly more heavier than metal. At the same time, along the years, actually they will turn the color into something looks like rust but not rust to maintain a features of like a copperness in the building. So initial they actually have this kind of thought, but technically, actually when you have this kind of building to be made, actually you need to consider on the loading of the steel as well. So if let's say you're using the cotton steel, the steel structure weight actually will be higher. So the overall cost also will be higher. So in order to cut down, actually we have introduced them to use our 360 seam, which is the standing seam profile, with the color, which is the XPD pearlescent. The color which is meant to be more long lasting, and also the color fading will comes later than the other color selection. So if let's say you compare to this project and also the Starbucks will be something that you want to you want to make it like very stand up, at the same time very humble, not too out for the color. While for this one, this color actually is very, very stand out. So from afar, you actually can have a look, and you can have a look on this project and also remember this project because of the color. Okay, so you can also see that there's two different types of profile they are using here. They're actually using the conceal fix, which is the clip lock profile, and the standing seam profile, which is on the high pitch profile. Which is why they need to have these two profiles is that if let's say for the standings for the high pitch roof, they're using conceal fix. When it comes to insulation, actually it's higher because you need to step on it. So you imagine if let's say you are the one that will install this project, do you dare to stand on the edges of there and stand just to make sure the lock is locking? Is it hard? It will be harder because the installation cost will also be higher. So which is why sometimes design customization is actually needed in different types of projects. Other than that, you can also see this part, which is this part. This part, they're actually using a fully standing seam types of profile. And you will see here, actually you can't see, but if let's say those who is in the web, actually they will see a little line here. This one is actually the connection line. Because if let's say standing seam to minimize the oil canning, actually they will need to have a connection 6 to 8 meters, just to make sure the oil canning is actually lesser and also remain aesthetic. And also, okay, again, the hidden gutter is actually showing here. So to sometimes most of the time architect they will have some preferences. For example, they want it to be a completion of the whole outlook. So hidden gutter actually widely used if let's say they want to have a totality of the outlook. Okay, last but not least, we are actually looking into Maple-Tree logistic warehouse at Shah Alam. So most of the time, actually people will think that, okay, since we are actually looking into a warehouse is very normal. Why should we look into it? It's because now logistic warehouse or wherever warehouse that you are having, actually they will need to comply certain regulations when it comes to if let's say the building height is more than 18 meters. So for example, like our maple tree, the maple tree actually they are choosing a color where it's actually related to their corporate color, which is a beige color. This beige color actually we are having in our company, but to suit perfectly the same color that they have, we actually have a color matching. So sometimes if let's say you have those projects that is in a massive or with a MOQ, actually you can ask us to help you to have a color matching just to have the totality of the outlook of the color that you really like. Yeah. And also another thing that we are looking into is comply with the regulations. So when it comes to the regulation, actually now you will see a lot of regulations, for example, like the BS 414, if let's say your height is actually 80 meter, or you sometimes you also need to comply with the U value, which is not more than 0.4. And sometimes if let's say the project itself, they will need some soundproof or minimizing the sound dampening. Actually, they will also have the regulations sometimes, but very subjective. So you can see we actually our company actually have the testing detail regarding on the BS 414 for one of our project, which is a maple tree. So you can see this one is the detailing for not only the metal cladding but also the purlin. But all of these actually need to work really well with the main contractor and also the installer in order to work out these systems. And most of the time, actually, people will wonder whether if let's say I can use this test to use for your project. Is it possible? Yes and no. Yes is that if let's say your project can 100% following this detail, then yes. But if let's say, for example, some now they will need their walling to comply certain rule. For example, the wall also need to comply to certain U value. Then this will be a total different types of system mechanism already. So this is yes and no. Yeah. Other than that, for the green building standard, you can also see that we are actually having a lot of solar panels that on top of it. So proudly to say that actually our clip lock Optima, which is our conceal fix profile and also the standing seam profile, they're actually solar ready, which means is that they are actually not screw on the surface of the roofing. They are screwing on the clamping area. So the penetration is actually lesser if let's say you use the screw fix profile, actually is more on the screwing point. So another thing will be not only we are looking into the solar panel, we are also looking into the translucent shade and also the ventilation rate. Because when you design the warehouse, the wall, actually you can see there's a lot of opening on the side, on the right hand side for the ventilation. So when it comes to the termination point, you actually need to work really well with the installer and also the architect to make sure the opening is actually following a right detail so that they won't have too much water penetration that penetrate in. Yeah. So that's all for my sharing. So do you have any questions regarding on my sharing? Okay, I think it's a no. Okay. So thank you so much for the session, and also okay, to make us have more to make us have the understanding of what we can improve more, can you please scan the QR code and just so if let's say you have any question, you can also drop there to let us know. Thank you so much. By the way, sorry, just now I forgot to mention, if let's say sometimes you want to have a more green building point, actually you can choose our color, which is the African white as well. Because that one actually the solar reflectance index is actually 82. So when it comes to the green building point, actually they will have 1 point. Thank you. Yes. Following our color bond brochure, actually, they will show the SRI index. Yes. So you can follow that. Yeah. And the SRI 82 and above, that one is actually following the Green Building Index regulations. Yes. We don't choose project. We come yes, first come, first serve. We don't choose project. Okay, if let's say your project is very standard types of design, then the for example, like the detailing maybe will be faster. But if let's say for faster, maybe in 3 to 5 days, three is will be the fastest lah. If let's say you are saying that your project is something that is like Asman Hashim, you will need a very specific detailing regarding on the termination. It will take longer time, maybe 1 week to 2 weeks time, because we need to make sure your system is actually comply and also water.
If a problem occurs, what do you do? How do you go about doing it? What are the respective obligations the parties involved?
Not all good principles, right?
Of course. But I think this is a very crucial process, especially when dealing with international parties. You must have that. I mean, standard lah. Unless you decide not to, then there's another question lah. Questions?
Okay, one last one. This is the thing. If you are, we had a case of earthwork. Okay, we have got the perancang, okay, merancang. And then came the
Permission.
permission, okay. Then the client decided, to go with the earthwork first. Then our building plan has not been approved. Okay. And the engineers got the permission or the permit for the earthwork. The work was carried out. We started to get going. And then they don't have any audit. And we were blamed for it. Where does that come from?
Again, put it down writing. Now that is how it's supposed to do it. This is the process, this is the procedure. These are the steps that you need to carry out. You can't jump. What need, then you do this, and you do this, and you do this. If you they'll come back and say, you as the professional have to advise me to do what I'm supposed to do. I won't know. So you put it on writing, this is how you're supposed to do it. You still choose to do things not according to procedures or processes. Then it's your risk, your liability.
That means we are out of it.
You have
Because in this scenario, yes, he worked along that time because he just worked with the engineer. Without we were not called for the meeting.
again, if they purposely excluded you from meetings and so on and so forth, again, knowledge, do you know about this? Did you come to find out about this data before things popped up? If you do, put it on writing. Again, I think professional integrity matters. If your own employers, again, in respect like this is me, if they don't respect you as the architect at DSP or why not give you due deference, it's a professional, step back or put it on writing. You still don't do, apart put it on writing. You did this, it's not right, you excluded me, example lah.
Okay, the problem is Majlis Perbandaran wrote to us asking to explain why.
Actually, I mean, again, the thing is, I'm the DSC, yes, but I was in the dark, there's no way of example lah, no way of me doing it, they excluded me purposely. Of course, you can back and say sign instruction, which you know right. I'm saying the first inspection. Jangan bulan the first inspection, they will come back lah, we know what they will say lah, kan. So again, I understand you're all busy, but in as much as, again, my personal thoughts, in as much as we want to protect our personal integrity, how we do our work, what we have to do, we have to do. We can't run away from it. If we do that, then it opens us to a lot of can of worms, problems. I know we are busy, but we have to do what we have to do. We must be aware, we are the PhDs, we cannot say we don't know what's going on. I mean, that's my personal thought lah. Okay, thank you. Questions? Very interesting questions. If I don't know someone will say that. Yes, sir.
Just want to dwell a bit on the professional principle and the bottom line that mustn't be crossed. Actually, it was a case that we experienced. Then we had this case where the contractors and under the instruction of the developers was doing work that is not in accordance to our what you call guidelines and safety practices. And we wrote to the council. I mean, that's where the crux of the problem starts. When we wrote to the council to withdraw ourselves after numerous what we call returns, warnings, meetings to tell the client not to do, and the client still instruct the contractor to do so. Subsequently, we wrote to the council saying that the council said, no, you cannot do that until a new architect is found or a new PSP found to take over your job. So I think this is the practice that the council is, or the stand that they are adopting. So subsequently we consulted our lawyers and we decided to pull out because we know that actually when we tell the contractor not to what you call operate in the what you call illegal or unsafe measures, the contractors still do that. And the site is totally out of control. So and during the transition period when the new architect was being appointed, and we wrote to the council and we insisted and the council disagreed, subsequently we still withdraw ourselves. So that gray period of zone, should anything happen there, and it is, I feel that something that we as professional practices we should adopt. And I don't know, because the council to these days still in a way blacklisted us based on that sort of practices. So what do you think we should do?
If I were your lawyer, instead, my thoughts would be this. My contract is with a third party, it's a commercial contract. How I choose to go about it, if I am terminated or I start to live in a contract in a manner that is a breach of contract, it is for them to take action against me. So I would say that with respect to the council again, I'm not aware of the facts. In a hypothetical scenario where I wish to do something under contract, it's a commercial bargain between me and another party.
Yeah.
Let me do that. I want to withdraw myself, I want to stop work, I want to slow down, whatever it is that is for me to deal with. Council, with all due respect, well, it's between two parties, why are you saying again? I cannot be the enforcement
Power they think that, I mean, in the midst of changing of architecture, and should the what we call the contractors still carry on, developers, contractors still carry on as in line, and at the end, if something happen, I feel that the council in this particular sense, they will they come up to us and they say, hey, I mean, it's not the council's responsibility, and you are the PSP, and we still have not accepted your withdrawal. So
I mean, those are
it's a leading factors that I think that will happen again and again.
I stand by what I said. I think it is a commercial bargain. Number two, my next question would be: does your contract allow for works to continue and there's no architect on board? So when you do work and there's no architect, is that your fault?
No, but the things that it's our fault.
Okay, you need the greatest respect. I'm sure they also have the legal way of looking at things. I'm not going to say they're wrong.
I mean, it's in a way, to a certain extent, passing the bucks to us consultants. So, I mean, we did what we have to do, so I withdraw and then I send a letter, send CC copy to the council, whether they agree or not, it's not, I mean, it's not within my jurisdiction, so, but in doing so, I mean, you might antagonize or you might infuriate the authority, so there are some repercussions.
I don't really understand. You're put in a difficult situation. If you don't do something, eventually you're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
You do something and then as you say, you're in trouble. But I stand by what I say. There's a contract. I am free to do what I have to do under the contract.
Consultants, we stand by our principle.
Yeah, we stand by your principle.
We let somebody to, I mean, we can't.
Right. And I think the corollary to that is that when you see that once I am no longer on board, you're not supposed to do anything. If you do something when I'm not on board, I mean, based on the contract itself, then it can't be attributed to me. I've already set up. So when you doing work in a way that is not mandated by the contract or laws work, then you are in trouble on me. So of course they can cold storage and whatever is what you said and so on. But again, it's the same. Sometimes you just got to make the with respect the tough decisions and stand by them. I'm quite sure as long as you hold yourself integrity, you hold yourself the highest professional standards, I think it will hold you in good stead whatever comes after that.
Coming back to this issue of local council, then some of the time they don't do things according to the law. I had myself too, I had myself like this as well. But when we appeal, we discovered that those things are done by the kingdom officers, not the council. The council will decide. We had to appeal to the YDP, and the YDP only discovered things are being done by this legal audience, which is not according to law. So I advise the council, you are not authorized to practices. Only the bundle can practices, take action practices.
Normally, whenever we get issues, so especially involving all this, we ask one question. Do you have the power to do what you are claiming you want to do? That's the first question, like you say, so on and so forth. And again, I reiterate what I will say. Sometimes you have to make a decision because the repercussions are much more severe. One. Number two, you're just maybe carrying out your contractual obligations under a commercial contract with the greatest of respect. Of course, we all want the projects we want. But well, that is for example, the employer to come up maybe if there's a delay or there's some issue related to the project. So it's a commercial issue. But with the greatest of respect, I'm sure they have their own view on this. That's
If you're sick, then
there is a term in contract called frustration of contract. Whereby a contract can no longer be performed due to events beyond the powers of the parties. Suppose if you're incapacitated, you're unable to work and so on, you could rely on the clause perhaps. Section 57, I believe, percent corrected contracts.
Yeah, the problem in terms of authority, architect is always responsible.
It's a very heavy burden, a very heavy crown to remove. The project can only run with you all, but at the same time, they put a very heavy burden on the users. I understand, I empathize. I had a case on this before. Well, as they say, God gives those, then he puts the heaviest burden to the broadest of shoulders. I see all the shoulders of my strong. Carry the whole project on the shoulders. Any other questions?
Okay.
Thank you again for your patience. Thank you again for sitting down on a Saturday morning for hours listening to the talk.